Estonia, and today we rode the last 30 kilometers. So first and obvious question: what do you think about the track?
It's a lot of up and down. You don't really know where you are. Always in Estonia, but no, the downhills are quite fun. They're short but nice and flowy. Whenever it's in the forest, it's quite technical. Some steep uphills. And yeah, I thought it will be a fast race, and I thought, why do we have 4.5 hours or 4 hours for 100 kilometers? But then when I've seen the course, yeah, it's actually a hard track then at the end.
But compared to Swiss races, I know what is going on there also. How do you plan your race?
Yeah, I'm normally not going with a big plan into a marathon race. I'm also not too nervous on a marathon at the start, because there's lots of hours to ride into a race, and then sometimes you can attack, sometimes you limit, and maybe it comes to a sprint. So you have to decide, or sometimes you get decided out of the situation towards the end. And also towards the end I get into a good spirit, and it gets close to the finish. And also, why do you ride already for 3 hours now? Put the whole last effort into it, and then you can probably win the race.
But do you consider Martin Lowe as a big competitor?
Definitely. I mean, it's his home soil, and I think he knows the track and very motivated. And I think we're going to have a good competition.
Okay, same question to Martin. Do you think Christoph is a big competitor?
Yeah, he's the world champion, and I mean now he's riding just marathons, so for sure he have good preparation for longer races. Me maybe not so well prepared for a long race, but I think it's 4 hours or a little bit more, and that's what I do also in the training. So I think I should be able to ride with him.
What you will do? You will push from the start, or play some smart fox, or
you never know how the race will start, how the legs are, and how the feeling is. So it's a long one with some flat sections where for sure it's better to ride together with Chavaliers. And I think it's more about the maybe last 30 kilometers. There are some up and downs, and then the long flat section, and yeah, it's more who have more energy left in the end.
Küsimusi? Palun.
What do you think about the conditions for tomorrow? Are these fine, or what do you think? I mean, the weather conditions.
Well, I hope first of all it stays very dry, because I think it's going to be, or would be, very cold in case we all get wet. And it's here about 5 degrees, where at home was still really warm for the last two weeks. And it also makes the race much more enjoyable if it's dry and you can see proper and you're not getting cold. But especially if you can ride in the front, the track is still in very good condition. So like a cross-country race where so many riders ride around the same small loop, and then it becomes so muddy, so deep, you have to walk. I think there would be just a few climbs you would have to walk uphill, and the rest is all rideable.
Martin?
Yeah, for sure. I think also to have a dry condition is much better, because it's cold outside, and if you already have feet and hands cold after 1 hour, it's a difficult one to finish. And yeah, I mean the conditions, they they're still rideable even if it rains, but just as a rider to do the 4 hours, 4.5 hours, it's way better to do it without rain.
I have a question. Liso, what's the story about plums and Nutella? I have heard that you eat them sometime before races. Is it true?
No, yeah, Nutella is mostly for breakfast with porridge. Plums, that was the thing, I think, from the Leadville video,
Yes.
where Paddy had to go buy plums. I just had to give him a job, you know, to do something. He's actually there, you can ask him.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question from a technical point of view. You are riding a full suspension bike. Why this choice, and why not fully rigid bike like we Estonians? Not all of us, but most of Estonians like.
And first of all, to ride a full suspension is so much more fun than hardtail. I can't even imagine a ride with a rigid fork at all. You know, I'm a guy who likes to have his suspension really plush, and it really absorbs any little root and every bump. And with Specialized, really fortunate with the brain, you just adjust it before the race, and then it's all set. It opens automatically, close automatically again. It's really stiff and light. Sure, the hardtail is still about 900 grams lighter, but the comfort towards the end, it definitely makes those 900 grams up. That's like a water bottle, a big water bottle more or less on your bike. And no, definitely brought the fun, fast bike than just the pure racing hardtail with me here. And you also, with the suspension, you can also carry more speed out of the corners. In the descent, you're more in control, you're faster. And here it's not that much climbing, so when sometimes in Europe there are races with 5,000 meters of climbing on 120 kilometers. So there you can add up a little bit the weight, especially the courses are very smooth in Europe. So that's why I sometimes choose the hardtail over the full suspension. But if I would be a fun rider, I would not have a hardtail at home anymore. That's a guarantee.
Martin, what kind of bike are you riding?
Yeah, I will ride 29 hardtail just because I have raced it like for the season, and haven't had really time to use the full suspension bike for cross country, and because I feel better on the cross country course with the hardtail bike. So we'll also ride it tomorrow, and we'll see. But I think full in here, it's a good bike. Like Christoph said, there isn't much climbing, and you have a lot of kind of flat section with bumpy terrain. And pedaling with the full suspension, you have much more comfort, and you move forward faster. And I have never ride bike with rigid fork, so I don't know. I really don't even have interest to ride. So
More technical, what kind of first chainring you will have for tomorrow?
yeah, I use SAM 61 and have a 34 in the front.
I'm also exactly the same. X61 with a 34, but I use the rotoring, which is an oval ring. Like in a 4 o'clock position, when you have the biggest leverage, the most power on the crank position, and the egg is actually up on the chain, and when I have like 6, 7 o'clock, the egg is like on the lowest point. So once you get used to, actually it doesn't need much of adaptation time. You really have, or I feel like I have a little bit more extra power, especially on the steep climbs.
Normal, kohe küsimused.
Jaa.
Magama ei saa.
Eemele saab pähe. Sest ta ei tule.
ei tule jah, Eemale ei tule.
Eemelal on Pöidla tuur.
ai, sellepärast see nii rahulik kunagi.
ma ka 100 miili mehele küsimuse, et härra Mõttus, et millised oleksid teie arvates teie šansid 100 kilomeetri peal oma füüsilise vormi ja tehnikaga praeguses konkurentsis, nagu siin on?
Sitad.
Kaotama ikka ei läheks. Aga tööle tuleb au anda, et eks me ikkagi kolmandana tuleks.
andke keegi tõlge ka poistele, muidu nad ei saa aru, mis me naerame.
Martin ikka saab aru.
Okei, veel küsimusi?
Christoph, how big is the difference between preparing for cross-country races and preparing for marathons? And the difference in training, is there any difference?
Yeah, well, cross-country actually wasn't that fortunate. I had to train lots of explosivity because that's my weakness. And I never really had to train for marathon for the distance. Somehow the endurance is in my blood. And then when the cross-country races just got shorter and shorter over the years, and I got older, so it wasn't a good combo. Now I really enjoyed my first full marathon season. And I do train a bit longer, but I still add some sprints, and the explosivity definitely doesn't harm to keep that momentum going also for marathon racing. And it's also cool just to take the trail bike, like the stump jumper or the camber, and just go for cool rides without having a bad feeling about the next cross-country race again.
Speaking about training, during preparation of season, how many hours per month do you train, like, or how do you compare it with roadies?
Yeah, I may probably train about, over the whole year long, probably 12 to 13 hours a week, and then add some gym and running, skiing, all that. I don't like to do like probably a break of 3 weeks doing nothing and then boom, start to be on a program. Like now I'm just fit for fun until beginning, middle of December, and then I start really with a program again. Just be fit more and less all year around, but having your peaks, I think that's very important. And to me it seems like then some guys just really doing for living and not for passion. If you like look at work for work, and you train the whole time with a program and then off 3 weeks and then back again.
This kind of question that you are already like 3 times marathon world champion and cross-country world champion and lots of other things. Is there a race still that you would definitely want to win in the future?
Yeah, I would have liked to win the Olympics, so that's not going to happen anymore. I finished 3rd the one time, and then marathon-wise, next year I like to win Leadville. It's not that big in Europe, but it's a big challenge. It's a race all above 3,200 meters, goes even up to 4,000. A race also very important for Specialized. It's the biggest race in America. So that I would like to win, but still world champs and Cape Epic are more important next year. But definitely after that, my focus is gonna be for Leadville. Yeah.
What's your favorite race?
Often the one you feel good, because sometimes it can be a really nice track. The sun is out, and maybe you suffer from the beginning to the end. So you go home and you have like a not such a good feeling, and then even the sun doesn't stay so positive in your head.
Is there any kind of terrain which you really don't like, or?
Yeah, if it's cold and wet, I don't like it that much. But then you can also say yourself, just race as fast as possible, you get less cold and you're under the shower quicker.
Like all we do.
Where should you find out about racing in Estonia, the H100? Did the specialized team in Estonia invite you, or some other way?
Yeah, Sulev contacted me, I don't know how you contacted me the first time.
And we met in Belgium's
World Champs.
2004.
Yeah, and he told me about Estonia. I've never been, I couldn't really imagine how it looks like, and yeah, always it's cool to throw in a small adventure towards the end of the season, and yeah, I really liked it. And back then we raced in Finland, that was 05. Then I came back here, 10 or 11? 10, yeah. Race, and now he also left to ask me again when it would suit me, and he told me about the race here at the end of the season, and yeah, it just fits perfectly. I still do H100 in 2 weeks, race in France, and then the Brazil ride, and then yeah, the season is really over then.
You mentioned team earlier. Do you use team also during the season or only before for preparation?
Team?
Team.
Gym.
Yes.
Yeah, this year was the first time I went to the gym almost up to World Champs. But that was then only once a week, and from mid-November I go to the gym more or less twice a week. But sometimes you just do the same exercise, just a little bit different, and then you have muscle pain again for 2-3 days. And yeah, towards World Champs I just did the exercises exactly like I'm used to, so I don't get that muscle pain. And then it's sometimes difficult. I was on the road quite a bit, and when you have a break of 2 weeks, it's like completely new again. So I stopped now since end of June, but yeah, soon I'll be back in the gym. I spent probably in totally three hours a week in the gym. I would say twice a week, 1.5 hours. But I still, during the season, I do all year long core workouts. Nothing for my arms.
But Martin, you go to gym in the season or not?
No, in the last years I haven't used any more to go to gym, but before, yes, I think just get a bit tired of the indoor work and wanted to try something else, and did 2 seasons without gym, and feel pretty good. So I think also this year won't be visiting gym.
Both of you, Martin and Christoph, how much do you use road bikes?
Like, I do most workouts on the road bike, like pretty much all power workouts I do on the road bike, because I have watt measurement, and some sprints. I do maybe half mountain bike, half road bike. I mean, just training riding, it's probably half-half, but over the whole year, you know, with the fun mountain bike riding, then it's much more mountain biking.
And Martin?
During the season, basically use the road bike only for recovery ride, and maybe one time in a week for some longer ride. I mean, just longer, not because of the hours, but just to have more kilometers of higher average speed. But turning to winter, I have a lot of training on the road, because where I stay in Italy, the conditions are quite bad in the winter. There is a lot of clay, and so you cannot really ride much off-road. It's more like walking and hiking with a bike if you go. And yeah, I enjoy a lot of training with the mountain bike, so all the main work and the important training during the season it's already with mountain bike, and the road bike is just to recover.
sa võid Tarmoga rääkida. Elu Tarmo. How often do you use your road bike? Do you have any?
jaa. enamus ajast olen maanteel.
What's your basic preparation in terms of nutrition and drinking, preparing for a 4+ hour ride, a competition?
Yeah, I have for 4 hours. I also bring some solid food. I mean, tomorrow I think I have like four gels and 4 bars. Not sure if I'm gonna eat them all. It's always so different. Sometimes you're hungry in the race. Sometimes you hardly don't touch food. It's I don't know why. It can be so different. And I probably tomorrow I drink 3 full half-liter bottles. So I'll probably drink 1.5 liters, but I also don't sweat much. So if it's colder temperature for tomorrow, I don't need to drink really at all.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have I think 3 bars and 3 gels for the race. I drink normally when it's warm, just drink water, just to because of the gels, then they go down more easy. But tomorrow, yes, I have something also at the bottle, just because it's cold. And sure, I drink less also because it's cold, and otherwise I just need to stop in the race and then we can continue.
Definitely when it's cold, I feel more to eat sweet, and also in the bottle. And when it's really hot, after a while, we just want water and more something salty to eat. That's what I experience a lot. Yeah.
Tarmo, mis sul on taskus siis söögi mõttes?
tead, mul on praktiliselt igal kilomeetril naine raja ääres, mul ei ole taskusse vaja midagi panna.
palju naisi?
Samait. Säde.
üks pudel ikkagi on kaasas ja keelipudel on ka taskus ja kindlasti üks batoon, et kõike võib juhtuda, et ei jõua, taustajõud ei jõua järgmisse kohta ja mis iganes.
Tarmo, kas sa jagad nagu seda tehnilist rattatehnilist poolt ka nagu Sauseri arvamusega? Sinu rattad vist on täiesti jälgratas.
Ei ole, amort on ikkagi.
Esimalt, jah? Aga mis sa arvad nagu sellest 2
no, ma olen 1 korra proovinud, aga ju siis ma ei osanud nii palju seadistada, et ma ei saanud seda tulemust kätte, mida ma ootasin, et võtsin kõige raskema raja, mis ma arvasin, et läksin Tahvosse ja võtsin 2 akordiga S-Worksi ja ma ei saanud seda tagamordi, seda tunnetust kätte, aga see oli ka sellepärast võib-olla, et ma vahetult enne sõitu laenasin, paar sõitu sain teha ja tegelikkuses.
aga see mõte, et see 1 kilo nagu siis sõidu lõpus ära tasub nagu?
Ma nii palju kilosid taga ei aja, et endale tuli 8,5-kilone ratas kuidagi juhuslikult kätte, et varem ma sõitsin 10-sega ja ei olnud vahet midagi. H100 miili on võimalik võita ka 10-kilose rattaga, nii et vahet.
Ja kuulsega?
Jah.
ja homme, mis on siis sul all?
Thunderbird.
Nii uued rehvid. Said proovida?
Vägisi võtsin.
What kind of tire you will have to
Yeah, I mean, the team is sponsored by Rubena, so I will use Rubena tires. And yeah, it's not the same slick, it's a proper multi-cut tire.
Christoph, you changed your tires today a little bit after our training ride.
Yeah, I had Renegade in the rear, Fast Track in the front, both S-Works. It's definitely not a flatting course here. You can almost only flat, riding into a nail. And I also changed now to a Renegade in front, just for a little bit better rolling, but I will have less braking traction or cornering in the front. But I think here it's always, roots, it doesn't really matter, and that's some of the only slippery parts here. It's quite grippy. I feel also if it's wet, so Renegade is enough traction here, but a bit better rolling than with the fast track.
Gustav, did you think the 100 miles race also?
No, just okay.
Thank God.
I did the 100 miler I did in Leadville in America, so that was cool.
It's not for the competition, so.
I know the competition better with Martin than in the 100 miler, so.
ma lisaks sellele rehvi valikule veel nii palju, et mida siledam see rehv on, seda vähem sa leiad seda sodi endal sealt käiguvahetusest ja ülekandest, et ma olen sõitnud ka Rocketi ja Roniga, nii nagu paljud teisedki, et siis on see kogu ülekanne kõik seda heina ja sodi täis, et madalama mustriga seda probleemi ei ole.
Võtaks viimased 3 küsimust ette, me sooviksime vaatasid ka intervjuusid teha, et viimased 3 küsimust.
Martin, what about your season? How does it continue after that, or what do you plan for next year? Is it possible that we will see you next year also here?
Yeah, this is the last mountain bike race for this year. Then have a small break, but still continue to ride the bike. And also this year we'll ride the cyclocross in winter as a part of the preparation for next year. And start the season. First UCI races, and probably in the end of the year we'll be also in Anya to make another race.
Why is it so that most top mountain bike riders are all from Swiss?
Must be the talent. No, I think we have very good conditions in Switzerland. First of all, also with the mountains, with the trails, there are lots of races also for the small kids. Like started with the Strom Cup, which went over to the BMC Cup now, and it's still more or less the same format. The little kids, they just do a technical track, riding over obstacles, nothing to do with endurance, and then you have the next step, and then the real racing starts in that cup, and the best ones can go to a training camp. And most kids who are in the national team, they come from that national cup. So I think that's an important instrument. But always domination, come and go. Like I'm sure, there will be also dip again and come up. It's really cool once you have a high level, you compete against each other, and it's so important to have a few strong riders, because those guys, they pull everybody with. If now I did these marathon races in Switzerland, and I feel like the other guys, they made a big step compared to other years. I come from cross country, and I think I raised the level in whole Switzerland already this year, and that's so important. For example, in 07 at the Nationalpark Bike Marathon, where also Sulef and Erti was, my time was 5:45, and I won with 7 minutes. And this year my time was 5:30, and only won with 1 minute and a half. So you see, every year you have to step up your sure also the equipment gets faster and better. That also makes a little bit of a difference.
Okay, and last question then.
During your long career, how many times have you considered to be a road biker?
No, not much. I mean, now it's too late to change to the road anyway. And when I was younger, I just knew you can't win on the road. It was just not clean enough, and there was just a different speed there. And you kind of knew it, but you weren't 100% sure. But I just had that feeling that, say, mountain bike there, you can win the races, and it's much better lifestyle and much more fun to ride mountain bike than and be like a number on